Hey everyone, today I'm going to be bringing you a review of the Ugee 2150 graphics monitor, which is a 21.5-inch IPS monitor with a graphics interface so you can draw on it with a pen. I'm just going to quickly go over the accessories it comes with and then show you guys the rest of the monitor. So here's the monitor on the left, and this is my 27-inch monitor from Asus on the right. It comes with two of these pens and one of these bases, and then it comes with two charging cables, which is just a USB cable on one end, and then looks like a headphone port, but it's actually thinner than a headphone port. And then the pen, I'll talk a little bit more about it, but it's a very basic pen with a plastic tip and two buttons, and it charges on, there's a charging port on the back. So it comes with two of these and two charging cables, but only one base. And then these are some of the accessories that came with that I didn't need to use. So it's a VGA cable. This is sort of like a palm and two finger gloves, so that you can use it on the screen and your hand can slide easier, but I don't really touch my palm onto the screen, so I haven't had to use that. Here's the second pen, it's the exact same, so I'm just using one. And then documentation and a bunch of replacement nibs. They're all the same plastic nibs. And then it also comes with a privacy screen protector, which I haven't had to use since I'm using it in my own house. And then it also comes with a HDMI cable, power cable, and a USB cable to hook it up, which is currently hooked up to my computer. Okay, so just a quick view of the bottom of the monitor. You have a VGA port, a DVI port, an HDMI port, which is what I'm using. You have your power cord and USB cord, which is just unplugged for now. And then you have buttons all over here, which might be a little bit hard to see because it's pretty dark in here. And then let me just show you how the stand works. Okay, so the way the stand works on this monitor is that you just grab onto this latch right here and you can move it, and then you have to press it back in, and I'll just show you how low it can go. So this is the lowest it will go, and you can see that there is a bit of a wobble if you're working on the edges. And then in terms of how high it will go, let me just, it's not quite 90, but it's probably fairly close. The one thing I noticed is that you have to press this down when you want to lock it. It doesn't auto lock, so you can stop it anywhere you want, but you do have to lock it yourself. And then the other thing to note is that at all levels this bit is visible. Okay, now let's go into the use of the monitor. Okay, here I just want to show you the Ugee tablet monitor next to my Asus PB278H monitor, which is supposed to be a budget, fairly color accurate monitor. So I have color palette, I have grayscale, and then I have black right on the bottom here. And my camera won't be able to pick the delicate differences between the two, but what I wanted to show is that the color reproduction on the Ugee monitor is actually really good, if you're just looking at it like based on what I can see. I do see that on the Asus the colors pop a little bit more and the black is a darker black, but the difference is more so, I think, because this is a reflective monitor and this is a matte finish monitor. Other than that, I don't see inaccuracies in color here. So the red looks like the red on here, the yellow looks like the yellow on here, and the viewing angles are also very good. You can see that both of them don't lose too much color as you move around. Okay, I'm just gonna get into showing you guys the monitor now. So I just want to mention a few things. It does ask you to uninstall any other tablet driver, which I had to uninstall my older drivers. And then I had, because I was being lazy, I downloaded the drivers from their website, and they did not work as well as the one with the included CD, even though I did download the correct driver. So I would recommend just use the CD and don't be lazy like me. So this is the software that comes with the CD, and one thing I noticed is that it doesn't have a lot of customizations. So you can offset it if your graphics card doesn't directly map it out, but mine did. But in terms of buttons, you have two buttons on the pen, and the only options you really have is no action, left click, left double click, right double click, middle double click, and pen eraser toggle. Pen eraser toggle is the default option, which to me is not very useful because it just turns on and off. It's not like you can hold it and it becomes an eraser, so I just turned it off. Here's the pressure sensitivity, and that works really well. You can go lighter. And then calibration. So out of the box, when I installed it, the calibration was a bit off. I did a 9-point calibration, and now it's much better. So I'm just gonna start with OneNote, because that's something I use to take notes quite often on my Surface, Microsoft Surface, and this monitor. So it actually does detect pressure. So I can show you light stroke and then dark stroke. Now, I think if they were to develop more their drivers a bit better, you could have it so that I could just click the left button and have a button. But right now I have to go select eraser and then erase it, which is, you know, it adds extra step, which I would just prefer, like other tablets, to just have an eraser button. Okay, so this is a software called Krita, and I've used this software to demonstrate sort of the pressure sensitivity and drawing. And in testing this monitor, I have noticed that sometimes it kind of goes haywire, but most of the time it's been working fine, and I can do light strokes and I can do dark stroke. But sometimes what will happen is I will try to do a stroke here like this, but it will also make a tangential one. It happens seldom enough that it isn't annoying, but I just wanted to mention it. See? Okay. There you go, right there. So I'm not sure if this is just an incompatibility, because this is sort of a open source software, because I haven't noticed this with other tablets I've used, or if it's some other issue. In Photoshop it works fine. I've used it to do different things, like if you just want to use it for selection, you can use it for subtraction. But again, it would be way better if I could just program the buttons to an Alt or a Control and things like that. Other than that, overall, you know, I've tried it at different angles, and the visibility is really good, even though it is a bit of a glossy panel and it is reflective, but it is bright enough that you don't see as many reflections as long as you don't have a light right above it. You can see that on the corners it is a bit wobbly, but this is the area you're going to work, and it is fairly stiff. The other thing that I mentioned before is just that you always see the bit of this base at the bottom, and it makes it more stable than some of the other brands, but I also do feel that it is, you know, it doesn't look as clean as a monitor should. But I guess that's sort of the give and take. Other than that, the menu of the monitor is fairly basic. You can set your brightness, gamma, and contrast. You can move it a bit and change color saturation and things like that. But out of the box, it's pretty good, and I would probably use your software calibration more to get it tested, get it set. I hope this review was helpful. If it was, give me a thumbs up and have a nice day.